48 as a general machine shop. Bob Benner has been running this company for the last 20 years alongside with Kevin Dobbs, which was spawned in last December. So Hamel produces machines which harvest microgreens, along with acting as a small manufacturer for the industrial section and for wine producers. Currently, Hamel serves Canada and the United States. So there's two kind of machines Hamel offers right now. The smaller machine, which is sold for $15,000, and the bigger machine, which is priced at $39,000. The smaller machine is the more beneficial right now because the market for microgreens is still growing in popularity. So our main objectives right now is to help Hamel grow as a company. We want to innovate the machine for it to be better, and we want to increase the reputation within the industry. They're already pretty popular on YouTube, but right now we're thinking of going global to Israel for them to meet these objectives.
Alright, so as Manager mentioned, we're going to be taking the business to Israel. That's our plan. So why Israel? So the main reason is that this machine is cut to microgreens, and Israel is the biggest country for the production of microgreens in the whole world. And in addition to that, there is one particular company that makes microgreens, which is called To Be Fresh, and they're the largest grower and seller of microgreens in the world as well. So we're thinking that they could be a very big potential buyer for the machine. And also, additional points is that Israel supports innovation. They're increasing technologically by the year, and they're ranked 49 out of 190 countries with ease of doing business. So this is just a diagram that we made. So the top of the iceberg, the part that's not underwater, that represents the North American market. So we also described the potential. The potential is huge. So we're going to be focusing on an export strategy for our business plan, and that includes joint ventures or strategic alliances, and we'll cover that more in depth later on. So this is just a general SWOT analysis. So some strengths of Hamel right now is that they have the most efficient machine on the market for harvesting microgreens. So a potential weakness is lack of inventory. That is, if sales go up rapidly, it'll be hard to increase inventory with those sales. So some opportunities, as I mentioned earlier, a buyer could be fresh, a huge potential buyer for Hamel in Israel. Some threats are other businesses are making similar products to Hamel, and our partner Piyush will discuss that more in depth later on. So now I'm going to hand it on to Piyush to do the environmental analysis.
So after we decided we were going to do Israel, we decided to conduct the environmental analysis, check out how the environment's going to do for this market specifically. We started off with the political aspect. It turns out that Canada and Israel have very good relations together. In fact, it's good to the point where if you are from Ontario, and you're working with the company in Israel, the Ontario government will give you grants to help you do business with Israel. For social, Israel has very high levels of education, but they also have very high levels of gender inequality, which really doesn't come into much of a factor for Hamel's exact plans. As we said, we're aiming for export, but in the future, if you decide to go into the market and produce over there, then you would have to take that into consideration, and it depends how you want Hamel to look as a company there and work on the image. For economic, once again, like I said, really good relations. And I just realized I had something in my throat that whole time, because I can talk now. We have bilateral trade agreements between the two countries, and it's also a free trade agreement. So you're not going to have any tariffs being put on between any trade, back or forth. So if you decide to start producing there and you want to bring it back here, there's no tariffs. You won't run into any problems. For technological, though, this is something that I found very interesting. Israel is actually the top technological innovator in the agriculture industry. The entire drip-down irrigation system was invented in Israel, and they support innovation in agriculture highly. So for environmental, the environment isn't very friendly for agriculture in general, and that's why I believe Hamel will do perfect. They are the largest producer of microgreens. Why? They're also the largest for greenhouses in general. They have the most greenhouses and the most production within the greenhouses, so this is where the machine will come in really, really handy. And like I said before, the government there will help. In fact, they even have laws which promote more innovation, so they're looking for better products coming in, better products being created there, and the better products going out. I did a quick basic competitive analysis. I started by looking at companies in Israel that do this. It turns out there are none that create this exact product. But in Canada and in the US, I found two possibilities. First off, there is the Moser machine, which is actually located in Mississauga, the headquarters for them. And that's just a basic overall revenue for the company, so that's everything they do. I even have Hamel's overall revenue. So it's not the machine only, but this just compares the size. But that machine was only able to do 300 flats per hour, and it was priced at about $40,000. So it is priced above the big machine here. Then the Farmer's Friend. Now this one, I only put it up here because it's a different sort of competitor. This would compete more with the small machine, but this is also handheld. That's why it's 175 pounds per hour instead of how many flats. You would have to carry this around handheld, but it's also priced at a very low price point at $559 US. So that's where the big competition comes in. Now numbers. So this was just a projected income statement. We made many assumptions for this. So we assumed a very optimistic net income, or not optimistic, sorry, a very lower end net income of 200,000, which you guys were already on track to meet. And I estimated a growth of about 20% yearly. So we also made the assumption that cost of goods sold will stay constant at 75% of your overall revenue. We don't really have many big expenses coming into this because, as we said, we want to do an export strategy. If we want to do an export strategy, we'll be good to do it with the income that the machine is already generating. There's no big initial investment that's needed other than a travel expense to go over to the trade shows, which, as I know, you guys are already doing, so that's just adding on to that. So for cash flow, once again, this one is very optimistic. We made the assumption that every account receivable you get, you end up getting in cash by the end of the year. We know that's not realistic, but for the purpose of this, we had to do that. The biggest thing that we would have to see is that we kept depreciation constant, but once again, we're assuming that with growth, you guys are going to get more inventory or more products that you're going to need to create this, more machinery. So depreciation will go up, most likely. At least that's what we would hope if you guys are doing well. And we also said that most things are staying constant throughout, and accounts payable we're saying is decreasing at a consistent rate. I'm going to pass it on to Sermon for the implementation.
Alright, so this is just like a broader implementation plan that we came up with. So number one is to attend conferences, trade shows, like you guys have already been doing, get connected to websites and stuff like that. So number two is finding a distribution partner in Israel. So one that we looked at is Greenberg Machine Tools Limited. It's a huge distributor in Israel for the agriculture industry. They already have suppliers from different countries, like a lot of different countries such as the USA, Italy, Spain, France. I could go on and on, but there's not any microgreen harvesting machines. So they do have the distribution power, they have the connections and stuff like that. So we're just looking to have them as our main distributor in Israel. So number three, the machines will be produced locally and exported, so nothing has to change for you guys in the production of the machines, you just have to export them out. And then the partners will take care of the distribution of the product because they already have the connections in Israel, they already have knowledge of the Israeli market, and that will be an advantage to you. So number five is just working alongside different partners in Israel or over here to better the product and get more sales. So that's all we have for our presentation. Thank you for your time.
Any questions at all?
No, that was a great presentation. We had not even thought of Israel. So I was always say when I come to these presentations, I always get minimum of one thing that I bring away from this, and obviously that's a big one for us because we'll do a lot of investigating on that and move forward with it. So no, you did a very, very thorough presentation. It's awesome.
Yeah, one thing, I mean, you touched on some potential threats of moving into Israel. You mentioned them being a very technologically advanced. So, like, would there be any fears of, say, duplication or other things, you know what I mean, like, of them all saying, this is great technology, is this something we should take on as our own? Like, should we be worried about that, or like, or partnering ourselves with the proper distributors should be able to kind of protect us? Is that something
That's where I brought in more of the grants for innovation. So
Okay.
especially with how the country's developing and they're supporting the innovation of products, this would help you guys stay differentiated, so you'd be able to keep on innovating the product to be better. But yes, that's a very big threat in the market because it's heavily focused on technological advances in agriculture specifically, and as they are the largest producer of microgreens, that's going to be a very, very, very big threat.
No, it's great. Yeah, like I said, Israel's something we haven't considered. I mean, we get calls from literally all around the world because it's new enough for us. But that's one we'll definitely
We just sold our
so.
first one to Dubai, so that landed there a couple weeks ago, and they want a second one already, so.
It works.
So it's
That's
good.
what happens. It's the best in the market.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. No, it's great. Glad to hear it too. Yeah.